Yo! What's up? This is Patrick.
This is Eren.
And today we're going to talk about something. I got to be honest with you, Adam and I just kind of stumbled on this, but it's the Data Wrangler. And instead of us doing a very bad job talking about it, we brought an expert here to talk about the Wrangler. So before we get into this, why don't you tell us who you are and what you do?
Thanks, Patrick. I'm Eren Orbey. I'm a product manager on the Synapse data science team in Microsoft Fabric. And one of the features I work on is the Wrangler, Data Wrangler, which is a tool used to accelerate data prep for data scientists and anyone else.
You notice what he said, the Wrangler. So it is the Data Wrangler, but we're going to call it the Wrangler because it's amazing. It's amazing. It can do these phenomenal things. Think about Power Query, but think about Power Query that produces Python, right?
That's it.
All right. So tell us about the Data Wrangler. What was the vision? How did you come up with it? Why is it here? How can we use it? Why should we use it?
Data Wrangler is a collaboration between our friends in the developer division at Microsoft who have this tool in VS Code where you should also totally go and try it out. And we brought it into Fabric to speed up customers working on this side as well. So the idea is really that people spend too much time doing data preparation, data cleaning. It's tedious, it takes up time, and it is kind of a barrier for users who might have less experience with Python, who might need to spend time mucking around in documentation, and so forth. The idea is with Data Wrangler, you get this immersive grid-like Excel-like view. You can do a bunch of transformations and the code is being produced in real time. And at the end of the day, that's what you get. Not just the data that's clean, but the code that actually does that cleaning.
So I'm really excited about this. And you know how we like to do it in a guy in a cube. Enough of all this talking. Let's head over to your laptop.
So what I have here in front of me is a Fabric notebook. You might be familiar with this. The idea is that this is a pretty standard code-like environment where you can load in a data frame. And if you wanted to, you can do all of your data prep here, right? You can drop columns, you can drop rows, you can scale values, you can fill in missing values. But with Data Wrangler, what we do is we give you the ability to do that in a more focused environment where you can just apply steps in a matter of clicks and count on the code to be produced the entire time. So I've loaded in a CSV file into a Pandas data frame right here in the notebook. And I'm going to go to this data tab in the ribbon and click on Launch Data Wrangler. When I do, it's going to give me a drop down of all my active data frames. There's just one right now. And I'm going to click and take a look at what this tool offers us.
I've been tinkering with Fabric, and I'm not pretending that I'm a Python expert. I'm getting there, right? I'm between beginner and intermediate. But by default, when I work in Fabric, there's PySpark data frames. And so is there any possibility that I can use PySpark data frames instead of Pandas data frames? Is that something that you all are working on?
Absolutely. We're a big data shop. PySpark is where it's at. And so support natively for PySpark data frames is coming. Stay tuned for that in the course of a few months. Right now, Data Wrangler works on Pandas data frames. So the story there is you just sample a larger data set down, do a lot of your transformation in Pandas and then scale back up. So here we have that Pandas data frame. Instantly, we see this grid-like view, right? At the center, we have a preview almost as if it were Excel, and we have information about each column just built into that header. So we have missing values, unique values, histograms just kind of auto-generated if it's a numeric value and so forth. And you can pan around, take a look at how the data looks, what the distribution for a given column value is, and so forth. On the right of the screen, you're going to see the summary panel, which you can sort of snap up or re-expose that has information about the dimensions of that data frame, the number of columns, missing rows, missing values, and so forth. And then if you go to the left, here's really where the bread and butter of Data Wrangler is. This is a library of all these common data cleaning operations you might want to do. So finding and replacing values, formatting values, formulas. There's really a lot here, kind of all you'd expect to do, and then also more customized operations if you're interested. And then down on the left, we see the cleaning steps that have already happened. So right now we've loaded this data frame into the tool. And as we continue to apply steps from here, we're going to have code generated in real time and added there step by step.
I use Power BI, and there's this feature called Power Query, and there's a query editor in the desktop. This looks really familiar. So for all my Power Query people, hey, if you want to use the Wrangler, the Data Wrangler, right? I think all those skills you have with Power Query can easily transfer over to this user interface.
Absolutely. Could not be more right. I'm a former Power BI intern. I love Power Query. And the reason the tools look similar is because Power Query is a great product that has just a lot of these fundamental data preparation, data cleaning, data quality insights built in that we also want to emulate. The main difference here is that we're really focusing on Python use cases. So you think generally about Power Query as being the tool that gets you that clean data. With Data Wrangler, you're going to get the clean data, but you're also going to get the code that cleans it, and that lives in the notebook. So it's slightly different, but definitely a cousin of Power Query, same kind of family, Fabric family here. So we could be here for an hour or two if we really wanted to look at everything, but I'm just going to give you a taste of a few of the operations that Data Wrangler supports. This is a data frame that just has some raw churn data. We might want to build a model down the line, but in order to do so, there's a lot of just cleaning, preparation, analysis we need to do. So thanks to these built-in statistics and the built-in histograms, we can get a sense of the data without needing to manually enter a lot of commands in the notebook. But if we want to go ahead and start preparing this, thinking about features that might be useful for a model, we can do that in the tool. So instantly, I'm going to notice this customer ID column. We might just want to get rid of that. It's not going to be a useful feature. So I can jump over to schema here, and I can click on drop column. And we notice that since we selected it, it's instantly being selected as the target in the UI. We could add other columns if we wanted to go crazy and really drop a bunch of stuff. But for now, we're going to notice that when we queue up that operation, we actually get a preview of what would happen. So we see that it's going to be dropped. We see the code below it that is going to drop that column. And with the option of discarding that step or applying it. So I'm going to go ahead and click apply. Let's actually commit that code operation. And then our grid has been updated. So there's no customer ID there anymore. Our cleaning steps on the left now have that drop column step here. We can actually go and click and look at that state and the code that was generated, and we can continue on in that fashion. So you try out a step, you see the preview, you commit it if you like it, and you keep appending to this list of cleaning steps, which in the end, you're going to add back to the notebook. Now, column dropping, Patrick, that's a pretty simple thing, right?
Piece of cake.
So Data Wrangler's growing. There's going to be even more coming, but already we have operations here that are a little bit more complex. So let's go over here and look at this age column. We see the distribution here, and we see that there's quite a range from 18 to 88. For an ML model, we might want to normalize those values so they fall within a range of 0 to 1. And so we can actually go down to this numeric series of steps in the operations panel and click on scale min-max values. And instantly we notice that this target column is coming up as age, and we can choose a minimum to maximum that's auto set here to 0 to 1, but could be 0 to really anything we want. And the grid gets updated. So in the amount of time I was just saying that, we now see what the column would look like if we normalized it. We see the code that does that. And in theory, if I wanted to go and do that same operation to another column, credit score, if for some reason I wanted to do that, I could do it as well. And when I do that, the code updates, the grid updates, and now we see the same preview applied to a different column with the option to apply that code or discard it. So I'm going to go and click on apply.
Nice. So when I'm all done with all my steps, all my transformation, all my data prep, I want to get this back in my notebook. Do I need to copy and paste that code? Or is there a quick way to just say, hey, I was working in this notebook. Can you get those steps over to an existing notebook that I'm working in?
You're one step ahead of me. So if we head back to this ribbon at the top of this grid, you're always going to have an option in Data Wrangler to save the updated data frame as a CSV if you wanted to do that. But the more common cases are you can copy the code that you generated to the clipboard, or you can add the code to the notebook. Now, I have to say, I wish, we had more time and I could show you some one-hot encoding. I could show you, imputation of missing values, filling in those missing values with an average or a mean or a median. But for now, if I click on add code back to the notebook, we're going to land back there. And what we see is a code cell that has wrapped up all of those committed steps into a function. It's pretty small because we didn't have a chance to do a lot, but you could keep iteratively adding here. And you see that we have comments kind of corresponding to each step, and then the code that we saw previewed and that we committed in Data Wrangler. If I go ahead and run this cell, I'm going to see the new preview of that data frame that has been cleaned up a little bit. And the beauty here is that nothing has been overwritten. It's really generated as a function that we apply to the copy of the data frame. So you still have your original data here, but you can go ahead and clean that if you want by applying the code.
for someone like me that's learning, Python, this is a good way for me to go tinker with Data Wrangler, go through some of those transformative steps, apply it back, and I can actually see the code that's generated. And maybe, I can use some of that in my learnings going forward instead of, searching the internet, calling Adam, calling people that I know. How do you do this in Python? Just use the Data Wrangler and it'll help minimize all that work and save me a lot of time. So what do you think? Do you have any questions, comments? You know what to do. Post it in the comments below. And as always, from Adam,
Eren,
and myself, thanks for watching. See you in the next video.